Good morning once again. Today we're going to go through what we were supposed to discuss last time. Okay, the main goal, the end goal of this session for today is to determine these measures, these three: EVA, market value added, and this return on invested capital. Okay, now these measures are used to determine if management was able to create value for the investors, for the shareholders. Kasi gusto natin may metric tayo para malaman kung nakakapag-ano ba sila, naka-generate ba ng value for the investors, for the shareholders, yung management. That's an important question kasi as investors, as shareholders for example, they would want to know kung okay yung investment nila dun sa company na yon. Okay, so remember guys, wala nag-i-invest na gratis at amore, no? For free and for love lang, for the love of the company. I haven't seen any person who invested in, let's say, San Miguel or Jollibee kasi mahal nila yung Jollibee o mahal nila yung San Miguel, no? Na kahit wala silang makuha, okay lang yun kasi mahal na mahal nila yung company na yun. That reeks of that's really way against financial behavioral finance. Hindi ganun na nagbibehave ang tao bilang a rational being na magi-invest sila for the love of the company. It's because they want to get something out of that. Of course, that's very rational, no? Magi-invest tayo, maglalagay tayo ng pera kasi hindi dahilan sa mahal natin yung company. I'm not talking of NGOs, guys, no, where we donate, where we put in funds because we believe in the mission, we believe in the advocacy of that NGO. So we don't expect anything in return there kasi gusto natin na makatulong sa NGO na yan. Kunyari NGO which takes care of, let's say, yung mga homeless children. So magdo-donate tayo doon and we don't expect anything in return. Ang ina-expect lang natin na gamitin yung funds na yon, yung dinonate natin, pati ng iba, para for the homeless children, for the homeless people, etc. So depende dun sa NGO. Now we're talking of a business operation. So naglalagay tayo dyan ng pera. We invest because we want to have returns, either in the form of dividends or in the form of capital appreciation for shareholders. For creditors, they want, of course, alam natin yon, interest payments and return of the principal later on. So, excuse me. How do we now determine, guys, if management was able to create value? One measure is what we call the ROIC, return on invested capital. Another one is the economic value added. Magpinsan yung dalawang yan, guys, which I'll explain later on, and the market value added. So, in order to compute these measures, guys, may mga kailangan muna tayong computin, no? We need to compute, for example, NOWC. Ano yung NOWC? If you watch the video, guys, in-explain ko dun sa video na ang NOWC is simply operating current assets minus operating current liabilities. It's different from working capital. No? Ang working capital is technically defined as simply current assets. No? So this is working capital. Let me just use my pen. So ito, guys, no, WC is working capital. Just to make sure that you got this. Working capital. Okay. So generally, guys, pag sinabi natin working capital, it's simply current assets. And then net working capital is simply your current assets minus current liabilities. So we know, sorry. We know what current assets are, we know what current liabilities are. So the difference of the two is simply your net working capital. Okay, now there's another measure called net operating. Okay, the inclusion of this operating, guys, changes the meaning of this. So net operating working capital is operating current assets minus operating current liabilities. So magkaiba siya, no? Ano ngayon yung operating net operating working capital? Ano yung operating current assets at saka ano yung operating current liabilities? So let's go up our balance sheet. Okay. So this is our balance sheet. Yung lahat ng to, guys, yung total current assets natin this one is 476,300. But we're interested in operating. So pag sinabi natin operating, hindi kasama yung short-term investments. So ang kasama lang cash, accounts receivable, inventories, kung may prepayments, kasama yung prepayments, but not marketable securities. So this is not part of your operating current assets kasi financing to, no? Okay, so I hope that's clear. Yung operating current liabilities naman, ang kasama lang dyan, yung mga trade payables, accruals, hindi kasama yung mga interest bearing. Notes payable, guys, is interest bearing. Okay? So ang operating lang yung accounts payable at saka accruals. Those two. So with that knowledge, guys, we can now compute for our operating current assets and operating current liabilities. Okay. So what's our operating current assets? So take a look at the formula. It's the sum of your cash and then accounts receivable and inventories. Yung tatlong yan. Hindi natin sinama si short-term investments or marketable securities. Okay, ganun din sa 2019. Ganun din. And in fact, we just copied this formula to the right. Now, for this one, guys, for this one, it's sum of operating current liabilities is just your accounts payable and then your accruals. So hindi kasama si notes payable. Okay? So with that, guys, we'll be able to compute for your net operating working capital. So it's 330,750 by just subtracting. In 2019, it's 315. Okay? So ibig sabihin nito, guys, for 2020, there was an additional operating working capital investment of 15,750. Just get the difference. Kasi ito yung beginning ng 2020, ito yung ending ng 2020. So the difference of that is how much was added to operating working capital. Okay, now we need to compute for the total operating capital, and that can be computed by just adding yung net fixed assets natin. Take note, net fixed assets. No? Okay, so kung merong at cost, kailangan ang gamitin natin yung net fixed assets. Now, yung net fixed assets natin galing sa taas yan. We just copied it. So this was our net fixed assets, 330. No? Okay, nagkataon lang, guys, na pareho to, ha? Coincidental lang yan. They're not really the same. No? Okay, you might be tempted to think, lagi bang magkapareho si NOWC at saka net fixed assets? No. It just so happened, guys, na pareho sila, both for 2020 and 2019. So the probability that they'll be the same is really remote, no? Very, very small. So nagkataon lang to. So our total operating capital is just the sum of your NOWC at saka net fixed assets. So we have 661,500. Okay? And at the end of 2019, it was 630. Therefore, we can see that ang total operating capital na nadagdag for 2020 is 31,500. Kasi at the beginning of the year, it was 630. At the end of the year, it was 661. Therefore, ang additional is 31,500. So may pangalan to, no? Ang tawag natin dyan, investment in TOC. Okay, so ito yon. No? So TOC natin at the end of the year, 2020 was 661. Ito yon. TOC natin at the beginning of 2020 or at the end of 2019 is this one, 630. And the difference of that, which we showed here, 31,500, this one also, just the difference is your investment in TOC. Okay? Gagamitin natin itong investment in TOC na to in a while. Okay. Now we compute for NOPAT. NOPAT is net operating profit after tax. It's different from net income after tax. What we find in your income statement is net income after tax. Okay, so how do we compute for NOPAT, net operating profit after tax? Sa video, guys, sinabi ko doon na ang NOPAT is operating profit. So ang interest, guys, ang interest expense is born out of financing activities. So unfair kung i-charge natin yung operations with interest expense. Now, wala naman silang ka-control doon. Okay, imagine, as I stated in the video, kunyari 99,000 yung operating profit natin, yung EBIT. And then interest expense is 1 million. Example lang yun, guys. So therefore, wiped out na kagad yung operating profit natin for a value interest which is not within the control of operations. So we seek to measure, guys, a fair a fair operating profit by not charging NOPAT with the interest expense. Okay, so na-assume natin dito na walang interest expense. Kaya yung earnings before tax natin will be the same as your EBIT, 99,200. Okay. Now, you might be tempted, guys, to think that net income after tax and NOPAT should have a difference of 10,470. Okay? Pero bakit yung difference sila 6,282? Bakit? Bakit hindi 10,470? Okay, that brings us to the concept of yung leverage, guys. Okay, explain ko yung leverage. Okay, ano yung leverage? So, you know, this is a lever, okay? And then, para may fulcrum tayo dito. Now, the use of interest, guys, so may interest dito, no? Tinataas ang effect niyan at itataas yung operating performance ng firm. Okay? So, that might seem to be an oxymoron, no? Parang ano yata, parang hindi yata tugma na yung paggamit ng utang ay nagpapataas ng in effect profitability, no? It's called leverage. Yung gamit ng debt. So, nasulat ko dito ang leverage. Okay? Now, bakit? Notice, guys, sa tax. Notice na mas maliit yung tax sa NIAT, no? Kasi with the use of interest expense, with the use of credit, ano nangyari? Earnings before tax is reduced. Therefore, bumababa yung taxable income natin. Therefore, nagkakaroon ng tax savings. Okay? Ang tax savings yan, guys, should be equivalent to the tax rate. Eh, ang tax rate natin, 40%. No? 40%. So, tingnan natin, guys, yung difference, which is the interest expense, 40% there, napupunta, guys, sa tax. Okay, sa tax savings. So, ang net effect na lang ng NOPAT sa NIAT is just the 60%. So, 60% times 10,470 is 6,282. So, yun lang yung difference, no? 6,282. Okay, the rest, yung 40%, yung 4,188, is mas malaki yung tax pag NOPAT, no? Kaysa kay NIAT. So, nababawasan yung advantage ng NOPAT over NIAT kasi nga, ito hindi gumamit ng credit, hindi gumamit ng utang. Ito gumamit ng utang. So, may advantage siya sa tax as far as tax is concerned over that company that did not use credit. So, guys, take note that credit, yung paggamit ng other people's money, yung pangungutang, may place yan sa operating performance ng company. May lugar yan. Okay? Aside from the fact, well, primarily, sabi natin, usually pag may opportunities, business opportunities, which the company can engage in. For example, bagong equipment. No? And this new equipment will boost, let's say, sales performance by 20%. Mas productive, mas maraming ma-produce na output, tapos mas less yung wage, less yung wastage. Ibig sabihin, mas magiging efficient by lesser cost. So may advantage yun. Eh kung walang sufficient funds yung company, anong sasabihin niya? Ay, wag na lang tayo mag-invest sa bagong equipment kasi wala naman tayong sufficient funds. Okay, nothing can be further from a good finance decision making, guys. No? So dapat titingnan. Kung kulang yung funds, eh, pwede namang gumamit ng credit, pwedeng humiram. May mga financing institutions yan nagpapahiram. Okay, so especially if the company has a good credit standing, maganda yung track record niya, then it will be easy for the company to borrow. For as long as, guys, yung estimated na return ng project is greater than the weighted average cost of capital, it makes sense to borrow. Okay? Kasi mag-i-improve yung operating profit, yung efficiency ng company. Okay, so aside from that, guys, aside from the fact that the use of credit could help fund or finance projects that otherwise could not be invested in by the company for lack of funds. Okay, the use of credit, the use of borrowing, of course, makes sense. No? For as long as yung return ng project is higher than the weighted average cost of capital. And secondly, guys, sabi nga natin, yung tax savings. Okay, there are measures like degree of operating leverage, okay, and degree of financial leverage, which I'm not discussing here, later on pa. So merong measure na ganito, degree of operating leverage and degree of financial leverage, which fully explains, guys, yung leverage effect, no? Pero hindi pa time natin na discussion kasi may mga kailangan pa tayong malaman bago natin ito maintindihan yung degree of operating leverage and degree of financial leverage. Suffice it to say, guys, na may role yung pag-uutang, no? Okay, however, guys, the NOPAT will always be higher than the net income after tax. Ano yung pinaka-purpose natin dito? To make use of a measurement, okay, which is fair to operations. Kasi dito 53,238 versus 59,520. If your operations, guys, syempre mas gusto mo na ang metric na gagamitin sa inyo is the higher one, is the higher than NOPAT. Okay? So yun ang pinaka-purpose nito. And yung NOPAT, guys, gagamitin natin later on para malaman kung okay ba yung yung performance ng management. Okay, so of course we can also compute for NOPAT for 2019. Okay, and the formula is here. Okay, so let me go back now. Okay, there's the formula that we can use for NOPAT is this one. Okay, so from the EBIT, guys, from the EBIT, sabi natin ito, from the EBIT, okay, ibawas natin yung yung tax rate na 40%. Of course, guys, kung 30% yung tax, dapat 30%, 70% yung ratio nito, yung proportion. So just take note of that. So to quickly compute for the NOPAT, hindi natin kailangan yung ganitong yung ganitong setup, no? We can just multiply, okay, here, see, your EBIT, your operating profit times 1 minus tax rate. Our tax rate is 40%, di ba? So in other words, minomultiply na lang natin yung 60% dun sa EBIT to get your NOPAT. Okay, so that's the shortcut there. Ibig sabihin, guys, kung alam natin yung tax rate, alam natin yung EBIT, automatically makukuha natin yung NOPAT. Okay? If the EBIT is 100,000, kunyari, 100,000 yung EBIT natin. Okay? Tax rate is 30%. Okay? Yung dalawa lang yun ang kailangan natin, sorry, 30%. We only need those two in order to compute for your NOPAT. So your NOPAT will be 100,000 times 1 minus the tax rate. Okay, that's 70%. So 70% lang yung ang kailangan natin, yung 1 minus tax rate times the EBIT. So the answer is, ang NOPAT natin, if this is the scenario, is 70,000. Okay? Alright. Kung niyat naman, guys, kailangan natin interest rate para makompute natin yung net income after tax. Okay, so that's our NOPAT, guys, 59,520 and 56,700 for 2020 and 2019. Okay, now for free cash flow, ano ibig sabihin ng free cash flow? Free cash flow, as defined here, is a cash flow available for distribution to investors. And then when we say investors, guys, dalawa yan, no? Yung shareholders at saka creditors. Okay, so cash flow available for distribution to investors after deducting cash flow requirements for operations. Okay, so ano ba yung mga gamit ng free cash flow? Kasi sabi natin, distribution to investors. So ito, these are the 5 basic uses of your cash flow. Kasi it's for distribution to creditors. So interest payments and payment of principal. Itong dalawa for creditors. For shareholders naman, distribution of dividends. Okay? And then number 4, the company can buy back their shares of stocks. Kunyari, if Globe Corporation buys its own Globe stock in the stock market, then that's what we call a buying back of the stocks and treasury. Now, I'll leave you guys to research on this. Bakit binibili ulit ang company yung kanilang shares of stock? Okay? And then expect that to appear, guys, in our long exams next week, no? Next Tuesday. Okay, so I want you to do some reading on that. Bakit nga ba? Bakit nagka-treasury stock yung company? Bakit niya binibili yung stocks niya sa secondary market? sa stock exchange. There's a reason for that kung bakit nagka-treasury stock siya. Okay, and lastly guys, cash flow requirements for for non-operating activities, or that should be non-operating assets. Activities or assets. Okay, so these are the 5 uses of free cash flow. Okay, may isa pang ginagamitin yung free cash flow guys. Sa computation, ginagamit yung free cash flow para ma-estimate yung stock price ng isang company. And we'll have an example of that next meeting. We're going to use free cash flow in order to estimate magkano yung price ng stock ng company. Okay, so that's a valuable. That activity guys is, by the way, called valuation. Ang tawag doon valuation, yung activity ng nagko-compute tayo para hanapin kung magkano yung price ng stock. Okay, that's what we call valuation. Generally, valuation is an activity where we assess the price, the market price of a particular asset. Okay, it can be stocks, it can be bonds, or whatever asset. All right, so we now go guys to how do we compute for the free cash flow? So this is how we compute for free cash flow. We start with the NOPAT, which we have already computed, and the net investment in TOC, which we also have already computed. So sabi natin, di ba, ang free cash flow is the cash flow available for distribution to investors after deducting cash flow requirements for operations. So for 2020, ang cash flow requirements natin is 31,500. Saan nanggaling 31,500? Dito sa taas, di ba? Okay. At the beginning of the year, 630 yung total operating cash flow na total operating capital. At the end of the year, 661,500. So ang difference nila 31,500. Ito yung kailangan natin. Okay? So that's why we're subtracting it from NOPAT in order to get free cash flow. Okay, so ang tanong, how much cash flow is available for interest payments, payment of principal, distribution of dividends, buyback shares, and cash flow for non-operating assets? 28,020. Okay, so that's your free cash flow. Okay, now we go to ROIC, guys. Okay, ito yung end goal natin. Bakit tayo nagko-compute ng NOWC? Ba't tayo nagko-compute ng TOC? Ba't tayo nagko-compute ng NOPAT? The end goal is to be able to assess whether the company performed well. Okay? Whether katanggap-tanggap ba, acceptable ba yung operating performance nila. Okay, let me illustrate this. So magsisimula tayo ng NOPAT, no? Operating profit yan. So management was able to generate operating profit of 59,520. Okay? Okay, let me just illustrate that. Okay. 50 NOPAT, no? NOPAT. 59,520. Okay. Good or bad? Is that good or bad? To dramatize, that's the effect A, B. Ito 1 million. Si B nag-NOPAT na 1 million. Si A, 59,520. So which is the better performer? Pakichat guys, sino yung mas magaling na performer? Si company A or si company B? B. Okay, thank you. Ada, the rest guys, si Ada lang ba ang ano? Thank you Mika, thank you. We can't tell. Wow, interesting. Bakit Eva we can't tell? Could you unmute yourself, Eva?
Sir, because the TOC for the company B might be higher and the
okay. All right. Thank you, Eva. Okay, remind me, Eva, may plus 2 ka ha sa mga natin, sa bonus points, no? Remind me ha. Remind mo ko kasi bago tayo mag-ano, ipopost ko na yung mga points natin and please remind me. That's true, no? That only means that you watch the video, no? Okay. So tama si Eva. Okay, it will 59,520 and 1 million. So pwede natin baka sabihin natin na yes, mas magaling si B, no? Kasi ang NOPAT niya 1 million. But in terms of absolute figures, guys, mas mataas nga yung NOPAT ni B. Kaso nga lang, we don't assess performance that way. Okay? pag ganyang piecemeal information lang, delikado yan. No? Delikado kasi we have to look at it holistically. We have to look at it from a greater context. Okay, dito papasok guys yung concept ng ROIC. Okay, so ilan ba yung total operating capital at the beginning, no? At the beginning, ang gagamitin natin at the beginning. Ang binigay sa management na total operating capital is 630,000. Okay. Bakit beginning ang ginagamit natin, guys? Some would use the average, no? Average of beginning and ending. Okay, which is just fine kasi nga ang NOPAT guys, buong period yan buong 2020, no? So ang TOC, ang usual na practice is dapat yung buong period din. So ina-average natin yung beginning at saka ending. However guys, for our purpose, parang ang kwento lang natin, okay, at the beginning of the year, January 1, binigyan yung management ng 630. Anong ginawa nila dun sa 630 na yun? Okay, naka-generate sila ng 59,520. Okay, therefore, we'll be able to compute for the return, okay, return on invested capital. Okay, take note guys, pag may mga ratios na return, okay, you're measuring first yung profitability niya. In this case, 59,520 yung NOPAT ang ginagamit natin, and then divided by invested capital or operating capital is 630. Okay, so that's your ROIC. Okay, now for company B, just to dramatize guys, just to dramatize the example. Si company B, malaking company siya. Yes, nag-NOPAT siya na 1 million, pero ang operating capital niya at the beginning of the year is 10 billion. Wala. So now it changes our perception, di ba? Kasi si NOPAT, yes, 59,520, numerically mas maliit yung NOPAT niya kay B. Pero ang tinatanong natin, sino mas nag-perform ng better? Okay. It's good that there are measures na like ROIC, return on invested capital. So we have to look at magkano yung capital na binigay sa kanya kasi hindi naman nag-ooperate ang management in a vacuum, no? Ang tanong, magkano yung operating capital at the beginning of the year? 630. So we can now compute for the ROIC. The ROIC is just the quotient of your NOPAT and your no? So ROIC is 9.45%. Okay? So 9.45% to. So ano ROIC nito? So how much is 1 million, 123, 123 divided by 10, 123, 123, 123, 10 billion. Okay, so it's just guys, it's just 0.01%. Yan ang ROIC ni company B, 0.01%. Okay, and obvious guys, kung ano yung answer dyan, kung sino ang nag-perform ng better, no? If it's company A or it's company B. So it's company B. Okay, so there are measures guys, hindi lang dapat yung in absolute terms guys, mas maliit nga yung NOPAT ni A. Di hamak na 59,520 lang to, ito 1 million. But in terms of efficiency, in terms of performance, mas magaling si A guys. 9.45% yung ROIC niya, si 0.01% lang. So be very, very careful guys about answering questions as to which company performed better. Dito na papasok guys yung measurements like financial ratios. Okay? We don't just base it on net income after tax. We don't just base it on sales. Okay? Ang pwede natin ma-compare, si company A 1 million sales, si company B 10 million sales. Okay, masasabi lang natin mas malaki yung sales ni company B. Pero as to whether company B performed better, that's a different question. Okay? Kung ang tinatanong lang natin, sino mas nag-generate ng malaking sales, pwede natin sabihin, company B, kasi 10 million sales niya. Si company A, 1 million lang. But again, guys, I hope I'm not sounding like a broken record here, as to which company performed better. Okay? So, teka muna. Titingnan natin, ano ba yung asset na ginamit ni company A versus company B. So, these important questions, and doon lalabas yan sa ratio analysis na dun sa susunod na natin in our next worksheet. No? Okay, so going back here, ROIC 9.45. So is this good or bad? Okay? In order to answer whether this is good or bad, sabi natin, the ROIC, okay? The ROIC should be greater than the weighted average cost of capital. If the ROIC is greater than the WACC, then we have a case where there was value creation. Nakapag-create ng value yung company. Otherwise, if ROIC was less than a WACC, then we have value destruction. Okay? Value was destroyed for the company. Okay. Okay, so let's go here, guys. Now, si ROIC may pinsan siya, no? Related to ROIC is the concept called, is a measure called EVA, economic value added. Okay? Importante to, no? Kasi si EVA, magsasabi din sa atin to kung value was created or value was destroyed. So ano yung kwento na to? Okay, again, may kwento to, guys. Mas maintindihan natin yung formula kung iniintindi natin yung concept, no? Okay, nag-generate na ng profit yung company, operating profit, 59,520. Is this good or bad? Okay, is this good or bad? Again, guys, hindi natin basta-basta sasabihin na good or bad yan, no? Okay, 59,520, okay ba yan? Okay, teka muna, ang tanong natin, okay, itong 59,520, anong capital ba yung ginamit? Beginning capital. So alam natin, 630. Okay, question. Yung 630,000 ba yan? Libre ba yan? Yes or no, guys? Paki-chat. Is this free? Is this free? Paki-chat, please. Yes or no, what's your take? Is this free yung 630,000? Okay, Basti? No? Thank you, Ada. Thank you, Mika. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Mark. Okay, let me request si Basti. No? Basti, bakit no yung answer mo?
Sir, I think kasi po it's still going to be earned pa. That's
It's going
what I
to be
think.
take note that this was the fund or the capital provided by the investors, shareholders, and creditors. Ang tanong, free ba yan? Okay, you're correct, it's no. Bakit? Any investor, guys, requires something in return. Sabi nga natin, walang free lunch dito. Okay, kasi meron tinatawag na, ito guys, opportunity cost. They could have brought their money elsewhere. Okay, bakit sila nag-invest doon? Whether creditors or shareholders. Kasi nga, meron silang ini-expect na return. Okay? In other words, guys, itong 630,000 beginning capital, which was supplied by the investors, shareholders, and creditors, itong beginning capital na to, hindi to free. Walang free lunch, guys. Okay? So we're telling management, okay, we're providing you 630, no? 630 na beginning capital. Okay. Anong gagawin nyo dyan? Ano yung performance nyo based on this 630? Ano yung kwento natin? Management generated 59,520 as operating profit. Okay, kaso guys, okay ba to? Teka muna. I-charge natin si management for the use of this 59,520. Paano yung charge nun? Okay, 630 guys, 630, yung capital na pinrovide natin sa kanila. Parang loosely, parang binigyan natin ng capital, no? And we will charge them for the use of this capital by multiplying this by what? Magkano i-charge natin sa management for the use of 630,000? Magkano? Guys, andyan na sa worksheet natin yung answer. How much ang i-charge natin sa management? By yung WACC. WACC. Ito yung weighted average cost of capital. No? So yung ginamit na last na 630, i-charge natin si management by parang interest, no? Parang interest na weighted average cost of capital. Okay, so let's show that. Okay, thank you, Basti. You're correct. No, sorry, hindi ko nakita yung mga answer nyo. No? So it's the WACC or the 8%. You're correct, no? Okay, so let's Okay, so lagyan natin to ng capital charge. And then let's baguhin natin to. Tanggal natin WACC dito, no? The capital charge is simply your TOC. Ito na yung TOC times the WACC. Okay? All right. So, lagyan nga natin ng pangalan to, guys. Ito. I'm going to give this a name. Okay, so I'll call this WACC. Enter. Okay, so this one is now TOC beginning times your W, that's your WACC. Okay. Of course, pwede rin bigyan ng pangalan itong TOC beginning para kita nyo na it's TOC beginning times the WACC. Okay, enter. Enter. Okay, so copy lang natin yung format ito. Okay, therefore, guys, lagyan ko lang ng mga borders para mas kita natin. Okay. All right. So our EVA now is simply NOPAT minus the charge on the use of the capital. So that's our formula. I'll give you a few seconds, guys, to modify our model a bit. No? So NOPAT. Okay ba yung NOPAT? Teka muna, tanong muna natin, no? Ano ba yung capital na pinubay sa inyo dyan? 630. Okay? That capital is not free. We're going to charge you with the weighted average cost of capital. So that's our capital charge. And then economic value added EVA is 9120. Is this good or bad, guys? Okay, if the EVA, ang rule natin dyan, if EVA is greater than 0, if it's positive, then value was created. If EVA, of course, is less than 0, negative siya, value was destroyed. Okay, value creation or value destruction. Okay, note, guys, that EVA is related to ROIC. Anong relationship nila? They both start with NOPAT. Okay, parehong NOPAT ang sinisimulan nila. Si ROIC, we get the return. Kasi return yan eh. Return, ROIC. So pag return, guys, okay, may dinidivide tayo. NOPAT over TOC beginning. Just like, just to illustrate, ROE, guys, return, no, return. And that's equal to net income after tax over total shareholders' equity. Okay, return on equity, yung denominator natin, yung equity. Return on invested capital, yung denominator natin, yung invested capital. Okay, another example, ROA, return on assets, net income after tax over total assets. Okay, so ganun, no? Ang kaibahan, guys, ang ROE is that ROE and ROA both use net income after tax. Si ROIC, which are newer measures, no? It makes use of NOPAT, net operating profit after tax. So which makes ROIC better in a sense than ROE and ROA. Kasi dito ang ginagamit, net income after tax. Okay. So pause muna ako, guys. Any questions about ROIC? Yeah. Thank you, Mark. You're correct, no? Dali, baka may question dito. Can you show the formula for 50,400? Okay, thank you, Basti. So 50,400 is, okay, that's your beginning capital multiplied by the weighted average cost of capital. So which is this one, 8%. Okay. Clear yun, Basti? Okay, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mark, for answering, no? Okay, thank you for answering, Mark, on my behalf. Okay, ano pa? Okay, so okay na tayo. All right. So was value created? Yes, guys. Kasi EVA is positive. By the way, guys, yung EVA dinevelop yan ng ng isang company. May trademark yan, guys, yung EVA na pangalan, Stern and Stewart. Ibig sabihin, Hindi lang basta-basta. Kaya nga makikita nyo yung EVA na pangalan, may nakalagay na registered R. May ganyan yan. Kasi that name has been registered, nakapatent yung pangalan niyan to the company Stern and Stewart. Stern and Stewart. They were the ones that developed this. And it really makes sense, no? EVA. It really makes sense kasi it takes cognizant of the fact that meron tayong tinatawag na opportunity cost. So this is more economic profit as against accounting profit. So medyo magkaiba, no? Yung concept ng accounting profit kaysa sa economic profit. Okay, last guys, before we go to the next worksheet, last is our market value added. Okay, so ano yung market value added natin guys? Okay, this is very easy. Let's mag-insert tayo dito ng, kindly insert here guys, another column. Let's compute for the market capitalization. Market capitalization. Okay, so how do you compute for the market capitalization? Okay, madali lang yung market capitalization, guys. Kailangan alam natin, we need to know how much is the existing stock price. Magkano yung current stock price ngayon? So, given sa atin na stock price now is 65. Tapos, ilang shares ba ang issued and outstanding? So, that's 15,000 in thousands yan. So, that's 15 million, no? So, there are 15 million shares. Okay? So market capitalization is simply the market value. So 65 per share multiplied by the 15,000 or 15 million shares. So this is your market capitalization. Copying ko lang yung format nito. Okay. Now we compare that guys with the book value. So ito market value compared with the book value. Book value guys is how much does your equity appear in the balance sheet. So titingnan natin dito sa balance sheet natin. Ang balance sheet natin, ang total common equity natin, which is a composition of your common stock and your retained earnings, it's 544,538. Okay? So that's our total common equity, book value to. Therefore, we can now get market value added, which is your market capitalization minus the book value. So that's our MVA, market value added. So ibig sabihin yan, mas mataas yung market price ng shares of stocks natin compared to the book value. Of course, mas gusto natin na mas mataas yung MVA. Okay, so this is a different way to look at whether the firm has been able to create value for the shareholders. Market value just compares your current market capitalization, which is obtained by the stock price multiplied by the number of shares. Compare that with the book value, then we get MVA, market value added. Okay, pause muna ako guys. Any questions? Any questions? ROIC, MVA. Okay, thank you, Mark. Basti, same question ba? Okay, so ulitin natin.
Actually,
Sorry?
no, sir, I was just gonna ask saan pa nakuha yung total common equity?
Total common equity, sige. Okay,
Okay.
repeat ko yung process na to, no, para ma-answer natin yung question mo at saka yung question ni Mark. Okay, thank you again to both of you for raising these questions. Okay, ang objective natin guys, malaman natin kung magkano yung market value added. As the name suggests guys, kailangan natin makuha yung market value. How do you get the market value? Kailangan alam natin yung stock price, kung magkano siya in the market now. So given tayo na 65 siya, 65 pesos. And then we have to multiply that with the number of shares outstanding. Okay? So ang sabi sa atin that there are 15 million shares outstanding. And to be consistent, ginawa natin 15,000, no? Kasi lahat ng figures natin in thousands sa taas. Okay, so if you multiply that, guys, yung 65 per share times 15,000, we now call that your market capitalization. That's now your market value, 975. And then we compare that with the book value. Yung book value, yung makukuha natin sa balance sheet. Okay, so where do we get the total common equity? Sa balance sheet. Okay, so sa balance sheet, makikita natin na it's a composition of your common stock and your retained earnings. So the sum of these two, common stock and retained earnings, is this one, total common equity. So this is the value, the book value of your common equity. Okay, 544,538. Okay. So this one, guys, that came from your balance sheet, F44. So we subtract, okay, the market capitalization and the book value to get your market value added. Okay? All right. Did that answer your question, Basti? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Basti.
Yes, sir. Thank
Mark,
you po.
nasagot ba yung question mo? Mark?
Opo, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Once again, thank you for raising those questions. Again, guys, I really appreciate questions like this. No? Okay. Again, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Basti. Okay. So that ends, guys, our discussion on this worksheet. So kindly review this, guys, kasi kasama to sa natin, sa long quiz natin next next meeting, next week, no? So kasama dito yung statement of cash flows natin. Very quickly, sabi natin, statement of cash flows is is a statement that determines the sources and uses of funds from operating, investing, financing. So ang ini-investigate natin dito, guys, yung increase or decrease in cash. So we will have to compare yung ending at saka yung beginning. Okay. And this is the cash that should appear in our working paper. Okay, di ba dito dapat ito, dapat 2,250 dito. Okay? So, where do we start, guys? Sisimula tayo sa net income after tax and then add back depreciation for your operations. And then we comb the balance sheet accounts, okay? Yung mga current assets natin except for kunyari marketable securities which go under financing. Sa investing, guys, importante dito, pag net fixed assets yung binigay, sabi natin kailangan mag-compute pa tayo. Ito yung computation natin. If it's at cost, fixed assets at cost, diretso na. You just get the difference. Yun yung papasok nyo sa investing. Okay, and then don't forget the dividends. Okay, so the increase or decrease in cash should tally. No? Yan, 2,250, so tama na tayo. Tapos itong tatlong balances dito should be isolated here in one column. Operating, investing, financing. Okay, and then the difference, the sum of that, then add back the beginning cash balance, and then you have the ending cash balance. All right. So, and then we also had the computation for return on invested capital, okay, for the economic value added and the market value added. And in this case, management seemed to add value to the shareholders and the investors kasi ROIC natin greater than the weighted average cost of capital, and then which makes EVA positive. Okay. Lagi nag-agree yan, guys, no? If ROIC is okay, then EVA will be okay. It's just another way to look at it. So ROIC, paano natin nako-compute? Nagsisimula tayo sa NOPAT, tapos dinidivide natin yung TOC. Si EVA naman, nagsisimula din tayo sa NOPAT, tapos mina-minus natin yung TOC multiplied by the weighted average cost of capital. Okay, so it's easy to remember that way if you understand what's happening, kung ano yung ginagawa natin dun sa pag-compute ng economic value added, return on invested capital, at saka yung market value added. Okay, so that ends our discussion, guys, on this worksheet. Now, may I invite your attention to the next worksheet, yung common size ratio analysis, at saka yung DuPont. Okay, may I request you to please chat yes kung na-open nyo yung copy. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Basti. Iba? Okay, good. Good, thank you. Thank you. All right, so I hope everybody has has a copy already. Kasi may mga gagawin tayo dito, guys, na mas maganda, guys, kung kasama nyo yung, yung bukas yung Excel nyo. Okay, so not everybody answered. I'll assume that Everybody has a copy already. May I request you guys to insert sa first row, insert tayo ng insert ng row. Kasi nakalimutan ko ilagay yung pangalan ng company. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for answering the query. Okay, so let's just I'm sorry guys, these are actual financial statements. Hindi ko na nakalimutan ko na kung anong company to. Let's just put here XYZ company para may pangalan lang. Okay. Okay. Oo nga, base. Sandali, kukuha nga lang ako tubig. Sandali guys. Give me a minute. Sorry ha. Medyo nag-ano tong throat ko. No? Excuse me lang. Salamat. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Basti. Okay. Sandali lang. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Okay, thank you for your patience. Okay, so we're analyzing XYZ company. Now, andito yung income statement, andito yung balance sheet, and we're required to do the statement of cash flows. Okay, ano pa? We're required to do the computation for an OWC, TOC, net investment, etc. Now, you'll notice that yung iba walang green dito, ibig sabihin hindi natin mako-compute. No? Now, you should know why. Bakit hindi mako-compute yung mga values na yan? Yung pwede lang makompute yung kulay green. And then the statement of retained earnings. Okay, your assignment will be, although hindi ko siya i-collect, guys, is for you to do this. So dapat kaya nyo na mag-statement of cash flows. Use the working paper. Ito. Okay, so you're asked to create the statement of cash flows for 2020. So ibig sabihin nun, guys, kaya natin gumawa kasi meron tayong income statement ng 2020, meron tayong balance sheet ng 2020 at saka 2019. Okay, so complete yung information natin. Therefore, guys, we will now be able to, we can now prepare the statement of cash flows. Okay, so ang gagawin natin next meeting, guys, I won't anymore show you how to do this. I will assume that you worked on it kasi we already, as a practice, guys, gawin nyo. No? Kasi lalabas talaga to sa exams. Tapos ito din, paki-compute, guys. And then next meeting, I'll just flash the answers here. Okay, I'll entertain questions, guys, kung ginawa nyo to. And take note, guys, I will not, next meeting, I will not share the worksheet here. No? So, dapat on your own gawin nyo. Kung may mali, kung may question kayo kung bakit ganun yung values, that's what I'm going to entertain. That will hopefully encourage you to do the worksheet. Gawin yun on your own para practice na. Okay, what we're going to do now, guys, is we have 30 minutes. Sana kayanin natin to. We have 30 minutes. By the way, guys, ang kailangan natin malaman kasi nag-increase yung cash, di ba? From 7282. So 14 minus 7282. 6718, dapat yan ang lalabas dito sa 6718 na to. Okay? All right. So let's now do this one. It's a common size statement. AKA, another name for this is your vertical analysis. Okay, this is what you're supposed to do in your paper, no? Dapat gagawa kayo ng vertical analysis at saka horizontal analysis. Okay. So if you have the financial statements, guys, easily magagawa nyo to. Okay, so let me flash this. Okay, question lang guys, have you done in your accounting a common size statement? Okay, pakichat na lang kung yes or no. Nagawa niyo na ba sa accounting to? Nag-common size statement na ba kayo? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for answering. That means opportunity to learn natin to, no? It's an opportunity to learn. Okay, let me give an explanation of what common size statement is so that we understand. Okay. Okay, pag common size statement, oops. Common size, oops. Hindi nagkasya, so, size statement. Another name for this is vertical analysis. Vertical analysis. Okay, as the name suggests, guys, common. Okay, common, ibig sabihin nun, we're going to express all the accounts, okay, and reference it to one value. Okay, so pag income statement, we're going to reference it to sales. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga accounts sa income statement expressed in terms of sales. Okay, sa balance sheet naman, everything should be expressed in terms of total assets or total liabilities and equity, since equal naman yan sila. No? Okay, with that concept, guys, we can now prepare our common size statement. So for 2018, okay, ito yung mga accounts natin, di ba? Sales, cost of goods sold, other expenses, etc. Lahat ng mga to, guys, they should be expressed in terms of sales of 2018. Okay? So dapat sales of 2018. So that means sales over sales, cost of goods sold over sales, other expenses over sales, depreciation over sales, lahat divided by sales. By doing that, guys, class, everything is expressed in terms of sales. Okay, so what will be my formula here? So what will be our formula for the common size statement for 2018? Paki-chat nga guys kung ano yung magiging formula natin. Formula, cell. Ano magiging cell formula natin? Will be, so this is equal to, okay, C5 over C5. Thank you, Eva. C5 divided by C5. Okay. Now, as much as possible, guys, gusto natin na isang formula lang ilalagay natin. Tapos, ika-copy down na natin. Okay. So, mukhang mali yung formula natin, ano? Kasi dapat, if cost of goods sold over sales, dapat hindi 1. Kahit dagdagan pa natin, guys, yung decimal place natin. Okay. It will not be correct, no? Kasi, pag tingnan natin to, it became C6 over C6. Pagdating dito, it became C14 over C14. So, how do we modify this, guys, para isang formula lang for 2018? How do we modify this? Okay. All right. So may sinasabi si Mark, no, na gawing gawin nating variable yung natin, yung formula natin. Okay. So let me just first share with you what the other section did, no? So ang sabi nila, pwede nating gawing pwede nating bigyan ng pangalan to. So, this is a valid solution. So gawin natin, para alam nyo lang din, so ang suggestion nila, gawing sales 2018 to. Okay, so now this cell has a name, sales 2018. So if I do the formula is equal to sales divided by sales. Notice guys, magkakaproblema tayo dito kasi yung sales 2018 naka-fix na yan. No? If I press Control Enter and then I drag down, lahat guys, lahat naging sales over 2018 na. Okay? Which is wrong. No? Dapat nagbabago yung dapat yung cost of goods sold over sales, etc. So how do we rectify this formula? How do we rectify this formula, guys? Okay, in the interest of time, sasabihin ko na, wag natin ililink, guys, itong sales 2018. Okay? Papalitan ko to. Instead of linking, lining ko dito ng diretso, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type C5. Okay, C5, guys. So that C5 now becomes variable. Pag kinapit down ko yan, magiging C6 yan. Pero yung sales 2018, it will remain fixed there. Okay, there. Okay, that's it, no? That's it. To know if this is correct, guys, dapat yung sales natin 100% kasi we're dividing sales with sales. And since sales is the highest figure here sa income statement, si sales laging pinakamataas, okay, wala nang ibang figure na mas mataas pa kaysa sa sales. Kasi binabawasan natin yan, di ba? Okay? So dapat 100% si sales, the rest should be less than 100%. Okay? So that's one way to go about it if you're going to use sales 2018. Okay? So may suggestion din dito, sabi ni Mark, lagyan daw ng dollar yung, okay? So instead of sales to 2018, ita-type ko C5, okay, and then put dollar sign to $C, $5. Okay, $C, $5, guys. Okay, so Control Enter, and then copy down. So tama pa rin, no? Thank you, Mark, for this suggestion. Correct, no? Yan. Okay, but before we analyze further, explain ko lang for those of you who don't know relative and absolute cell referencing. Okay, ano ba yung dollar na yan? No? Bakit ganun? Ba't may dollar? Okay, kasi ang cell, guys, remember sa Excel, ang cell is defined by the column and the row number. No? So there are different ways to refer to a cell. No? Pwedeng $C5, and then C $5, and then $C $5. Anong ginagawa ng dollar? By putting a dollar, guys, before a row or a column, ibig sabihin nun, pinifix natin yung kung sino yung sinusundan niya. Okay? Ito, guys, ibig sabihin to fix column C. Okay? But not row 5. No? So fix column C, but not row 5. Ito naman, fix yung row 5, not column C. Okay? Itong C $5. Ang naka-fix, guys, C $C5. Ito naman, fix column C and fix row 5. Ito wala naka-fix, guys, si C5. Anong ibig sabihin nun, guys? Yung fixing natin, pag finifix natin. When we fix a column or a row, ibig sabihin, pag kinapin natin yung formula, hindi gagalaw. Kunyari, $C5, hindi gagalaw si row. Ang gagalaw lang hindi gagalaw si column, ang gagalaw lang si row 5. Si $5, ibig sabihin, naka-fix tayo sa row 5. Hindi, pag kinapin natin down yung formula, nasa row 5 pa rin. No? Ito naman, naka-fix both columns and rows. Okay, so dito, guys, let's look at what Mark suggested. Sabi ni Mark, okay, fix the row and the column. Okay, ang ibig sabihin nun, naka-fix na tong cell na to. And true enough, guys, when we copy this formula, tingnan nyo. C14 divided by C5. Naka-fix sa C5, which is good, which is correct. No? Okay, before I leave that, okay, you notice, guys, if I go after C5, okay, notice, guys, na nagbabago, ang bilis magbago ng cell position. Okay, what did I do with that? What was I pressing? Ang shortcut niyan is to press F4. F4. F. Okay? So, kung sino yung gusto kong i-fix, guys, pupunta ako dun sa ito, sa C5 sa denominator, not the hula. Kasi pag hinalay ko lahat sila pareho ma-fix. And I don't want that. Ang gusto ko lang i-fix yung nasa denominator. Yan. So try guys, try. Pakitry nga tapos pakichat kung you got it, kung nagbabago yung cell reference. Feedback please. Pakichat kung yan. Thank you. How about the rest? Okay, thank you Mark, thank you Eva. Yung iba guys, I hope you respond. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Salamat, no? Okay, now if you're working with Mac guys, hindi pa pwedeng F4. Sino nagma-Mac dito? Mac ka ba? Mac ang ginagamit mo?
Opo, sir.
Gumana F4?
Sir, for Mac, it's initially you have to press function and then F4 first. Pero you can set it sa settings po, turn off yung function na so you can just press F4. Kasi sa
Okay.
Mac, di ba sir, may commands yung...
Oo. Doon sa ibang section guys, sa kanila, ang nag-work yung command at saka T. Command plus T. No? So that worked. So thank you Mark for informing me na pwede rin pala yung no? Yung F4. So try nyo lang guys kung what works for you and then you use that. Okay, thank you. Now, ang problem natin ito guys, gusto natin na one formula fits all. Okay? So once I have copied this and I copied this to the right, okay, this will no longer work. Ay, wait. Anong ginawa ko? Mali. No? C4. Yan, Phoenix ko lahat, no? Okay, Phoenix ko lahat. And then I copy down or copy to the right. Kahit ano mauna. Okay, tingnan nyo guys. So what's now wrong with our formula? When we copy this to the right, naka-fix pa rin siya sa C4. No? C5 pala. Which we don't want kasi gusto natin, pag kinopy natin to the right, gusto natin pumunta na siya sa D. No? Pagpunta natin sa column E, gusto natin na pumunta siya sa column E. So, the solution here guys is remove yung pagka-fix natin sa C. Okay? So, this is now the correct formula. Napunta ako dito. Sorry. The correct formula now is C5 divided by C$5. What happens now is that when we copy the formula to another column, hindi na siya naka-fix kay C. Kung saan natin siya dadali na column, pupunta siya doon kasi hindi naka-fix yung C natin. Pero yung row natin, guys, nasa row 5 pa rin. Kasi lagi natin gusto andi dito lang siya. It should be in this row. So if you fix natin sa row 5 but not column C. If I try this, and then copy it to the right. Yan, tama na siya. There. So it's now D5 over D$5. Okay, Basti, question?
Sir, question lang po regarding
Sige,
on
go.
how you copy the formula for each cell.
Okay.
Paano po ulit yung shortcut nun? Kasi diba you did yung C5
Yeah.
divided by C$5. How do you copy it po from the vertically? Yung
Okay.
pababa po siya.
Sige, thank you for that question. No? Thank you, Basti. Let me repeat that. No? So it's C5, di ba? Tinipe natin C5. Hindi ko pwedeng i-link guys ha. Hindi ko pwedeng i-link dito kasi binigyan natin ng pangalan yan. So to avoid that, I'll just type C5. No? C5 divided by another C5. Okay? And then I'll press F4. Yung press F4, unang F4 ko, it's $C$5. We don't want that. What we want is the second F4, yung C$5. Okay? And then guys, anong pinapress nyo after this? What do you press? Okay, you press chat. Okay, enter. Okay, enter. So, ano mangyayari guys pag press nyo enter? Pag press ko enter, ano mangyayari? It will go down, di ba? It will go down, the active cell will go down, and then babalik na naman kayo dito. So, it's a waste of time na naman, no? What's best guys is to pagkalagay nyo ng formula dyan tapos gusto nyo pa rin ando dun yung active cell natin, okay, kasi gusto nyo i-copy yung formula niyan, do not press enter, press control enter. Try nyo guys sa Mac yata command enter, control enter, there. So ando dun pa rin siya, di ba? Right? Kaysa kung nag-enter kayo pupunta sa baba yan, tapos babalik na naman kayo dito. Okay, so this small things, guys, small things, but they mean a lot kung maraming ginagawa. No? Okay, thank you, Mark. Okay, yung question ni Basti, so andyan na tayo, no? Ito na yung formula natin, tama na, no? So I can now copy this either down or to the right, it doesn't matter. So how do you copy it? Kailangan lalabas yung crosshair na yan, nakita niyo yung crosshair. Ito yung crosshair, guys, yung walang arrows, no? Parang cross lang siya. Okay, and then I can copy it to the right. Okay, once I copy it to the right, yung buong yan, I copy it down. There. Okay, that's now our correct answer. Okay, Basti, did that answer your question?
Yes, sir, it did. Thank
Okay,
you so
good.
much po.
Good, thank you. Once again, guys, salamat sa mga nagtatanong, no? Salamat sa mga nagtatanong. Because you never can tell din na baka question din yan ng classmates nyo, tapos nahihiya lang sila. Thank you for taking courage to ask questions like that. No? Okay, so itong guys, yung common size statement, i-analyze natin to. So lagyan muna natin guys ng mga borders para pareho siya ng ng income statement, no? So yung mga borders na yan, it helps us analyze yung common size natin. Okay. So let's quickly analyze this. Ano ibig sabihin nitong okay, this is our sales, no? Ano ibig sabihin ng 0.83? Okay, it means guys that for every 1 peso of sales, ang cost ng binenta natin is 83 centavos. That's the meaning of 0.83. Kasi ano yan cost of sales divided by sales, di ba? So 0.83 means is the same as 0.83 over 1. Okay, take note of that guys. 0.83 is the same as 0.83. Review. Okay, itong 0.83 na to. That means 0.83 over 1. Diba? Ito yung denominator natin, yung sales. So ang ibig sabihin niyan, sa bawat piso ng sales, ang cost na ginagastos natin dun sa binenta natin is 83 centavos. Okay? So we take a look at it dun sa buong taon, no? Sa 2018, 0.93 yung operating profit, operating cost, no? Ibig sabihin, sa bawat benta na piso, ang total cost nun, operating cost is 94 centavos. So ang natitira na lang na operating profit is 6 centavos. Okay? Sa bawat piso na binenta natin, 6 centavos doon yung operating profit natin. Tapos, around 2.6 centavos na lang yung bottom line, yung net income. Okay? So that's what this means, no? Okay, so we take a look also at 2019. Notice na 0.854, ibig sabihin, bawat piso na sale, 85 centavos doon yung cost. 99 centavos yung total operating cost. Halos wala na natira. Kaya nga ang operating profit natin, wala na not less than 1 centavo na lang, 0.3 centavos na lang to. Okay, so bagsak talaga sa 2019. And in fact, okay, sa bawat piso ng sales, we were losing 1.6 centavos. Yun ang ibig sabihin yan. 2020 naman, okay, ang total cost natin 93 centavos. Kumita tayo, operating profit ng 7 centavos per 1 peso of sales. And then ang income natin, net income was 3.6 centavos for 1 peso of sales. Okay, so we don't look at just the year. Ang ginagawa din natin guys, kino-compare natin across the years. So doon napapasok si horizontal analysis. So sa vertical guys, tinitingnan natin bawat year. Tapos, of course, nagko-compare din tayo. No? 2018 kasi, ang operating cost natin around 0.94. Pero noong 2019, 0.99. No? Halos 1 peso na rin. No? Halos wala ng profit. Tapos gumanda naman ng 2020. So you take a look at the across the years, kino-compare natin. Net income natin, 2.6 centavos per peso of sales. Dito, loss tayo. Dito naman, 3.6 centavos. Okay, so nakikita natin dito yung progression across time. Nakikita natin yung performance niya every year. No? Every year. Yun ang common size statement natin. vertical analysis. You take a look at it every year, and then you do some comparisons then. Although yung comparisons across the years, it's more of the horizontal analysis. No? Pero pwede din naman natin tingnan, 93 centavos, 99 centavos, 93 centavos. Talagang palpak yung 2019. Siyempre, ano yung gamit niya sa management? Alamin ng management kung ano nangyari, bakit naging ganun yung operating cost natin. Bakit naging 99 centavos? Bakit halos wala na natira? No? So that's the rationale there. Okay. So I'm running out of time, guys. So now a very good tool from the other sections. Sabi nila na hindi pa kayo nagsa-spark lines. So I'll assume, guys, na wala pa rin kayong spark lines, no? So and let me teach you how to do a spark lines in Excel. So spark lines, pinaplot lang niya over the years, no? So ang sales natin 111, pareho lang yan. So vertical line lang yan. So how do we plot using spark lines? Punta tayo sa insert. Insert. And then sa insert, guys, makikita niyo to dito, spark lines. No? Okay, there are three types of spark lines. You have the line, you have the column, and then you have the win-loss. Okay? So dapat alam natin kung ano yung maganda for each of the data natin, depende sa data natin. So let's start with the line. Okay, line. Okay, so tanong, ano yung data range natin? Okay, isama na natin lahat, guys. No? Lahat ito lalagyan natin ng spark lines. Yan. Data range natin. So saan ilalagay yan? Yung spark lines ilalagay dito. There. Okay, so ipa-plot niya over the years. No? Okay. So there is your spark line. Okay, we can modify this kasi dito medyo hindi natin naiintindihan, ano? Ang hirap intindihin kung ano ba ibig sabihin niyan. Buti na lang may design dito, no? So, pag hinighlight niyan, automatic may spark line tools design. And then ito yung column, okay? Let's just take a look at it. Tapos ito yung win-loss. So, hindi masyadong kita dito sa win-loss. So, I'll stick to the column and then I can put here the high point and then the low point. Okay, so kita nyo, no? Mas naiintindihan na natin to. My high point, my low point. Okay, depending rin yan, guys. You can experiment kung putting here or even color dito, spark line color. Okay, if you want to change the color, okay, say blue, yan, dark blue, okay, etc. No? Okay, so let's take a look at this, guys. Yung red dito, guys, highest point, tapos lowest point din. Obviously, alam natin kung ano yung highest point dito. So here we can see that yung cost ratio natin, pinakamataas siya noong 2019 at saka pinakamababa noong 2020. So dito makikita natin something really happened noong 2020. 2019, I'm sorry. And buti na lang na nakabawi ng 2020. No? Net income naman, guys, pinakamababa yung 2019, di ba? Ito yung lowest point, highest point ng 2020. Okay? So you can do a lot of things here, okay? With this visual, itong spark lines, guys. We can see kung ano yung highest point, ano yung lowest point, and then analyze. Okay, aside from vertical analysis, meron tayong horizontal analysis. Ito naman, kino-compare natin. Growth rate lang to, guys. Growth rate lang between 2 years. Okay, so mali ito, guys. No? It should be 2018 versus 2019. I'm sorry for this. And then this one should be 2019 and 2020. Okay. All right. Growth rate lang to, guys, which means we are comparing the growth between 2018 and 19 and this one, 19 and 20. So alam niyo na yung formula na yun, di ba? It's just the current value or the present value divided by the past value. So mauuna yung current value. Ngayon, hindi ko pwede i-click doon. So I'm just going to use C5, no? C5 and then -1. Diba? Remember, that's the growth rate, no? The current divided by the previous -1. And dito wala tayong i-fix, guys, kasi gusto natin pag kinapin natin yung formula, magbabago lahat, no? Control Enter. Dagdagan ko lang ng decimal place and then copy to the right and then copy to the left. Okay, and then I leave you to put the borders. Okay, guys, time na. May I have 1 minute, guys? 1 or 2 minutes. Pwede ba? Do I have your permission to extend by 2 minutes? Okay, salamat ha. Salamat. Tapusin ko lang tong itong horizontal analysis. Thank you guys. Okay, so ano ibig sabihin nitong 0.7? It means that this amount, this sales, increased by 70% between 2018 and 2019, no? From 3.4 to 5.8 million. Ang laki ng increase. In fact, mas malaki pa yung increase ng 2018 to 2019 kaysa 2019 to 2020. Kasi ito 20% lang. Okay? However, guys, may makikita tayong mga kwento dito, no? Ito, quickly. Total none. Okay. Notice, guys, sales increased by 70%, pero ang cost, operating cost, nag-increase naman ng 80%. So mas malaki pa yung increase, guys, ng operating cost kaysa sales, no? So that tells something about a bad performance in 2019. Oh, ayun, no? 80% yung increase, samantala yung sales 80% increase. Compare natin sa 2019-2020. Nag-increase ng 20% yung sales, pero yung cost nag-increase lang ng 12%. That's good, no? That's good. Okay, ano naman tong negative 0.14 na to? Okay, take note, this is other expenses. So this is 2019 to 2020. 720 to 612. Ibig sabihin bumaba, no? Bumaba yung ano natin. So pag negative yung growth rate, ibig sabihin bumaba yung ano? Bumaba yung ano natin, yung value, no? Okay, ito ibig sabihin nito negative, bumaba nga, no? From 209 to 17. Ang laki ng baba. 92% guys yung baba ng operating profit. Samantalang ito guys, look, 2,782% increase ng operating profit. Tignan nyo, 17 to 502. Ang laki ng increase ng 2019 to 2020. Okay? So this tells us anong magandang ginawa natin sa 2020 at anong pangit na ginawa natin sa 2019. So managerial decision making yan, hanapin yun, tapos and then hopefully replicate that or not replicate that. No? Lastly guys, may mali dito. No? Ito. Bakit negative to? Di ba dapat positive to? Kasi from negative 158 to 422, no? Nag-increase siya. Bakit negative to? So magkakaroon tayo ng problema guys kung ang previous value natin negative. Okay? So dapat ito, lalagyan natin ng absolute value. Kasi that should be an increase and not a decrease. Absolute value, okay? Okay, para maging positive siya. Okay. Alright, then I want you to discover, guys, kasi may problema tayo kung yung previous value negative. So modify this formula so that pag kinapin natin, it will account for a previous na negative value. Okay? So that's I want you to discover that and then compare notes tayo ng next Thursday. Lastly guys, ito common size statement ng balance sheet. So everything will be divided by total assets, no? Yan, $25. Copy to the right. Ito naman sa liabilities, this divided by this F4. Okay, and then copy to the right. Then format nyo na lang, no? Yan. Okay. And I'm going to send this guys for your review. Okay, tapos i-format na lang, baguhin na lang yung decimal place. Tapos ito ganun din guys, no? So it's this divided by the previous minus 1. Ganun lang. Okay? So, okay, let me end there guys. Let me end here. Okay, this divided by the previous minus 1. Okay? Okay, so next meeting guys, tutuloy natin to, no? We're going to finish our discussion on this one. Okay, and then I'm going to send this file for your review. Ay, mali yata ako. Okay, tama. Okay, so with that guys, thank you so much. I'm sorry for extending the time, no? So let me stop recording.